Welcome back to Proper Madness. I'm happy to have you back if you're a returning listener. If you're a new listener, my name is Sabby, and I have a very unique perspective on mental health. I believe wholeheartedly that we can turn anything that we have been through and alchemize it into bettering ourselves mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It helps you feel less alone, to know and understand that the way out is always through the eye of the storm. Grab a cup of tea. If you're not a tea drinker, grab your coffee, and let's sit down and tune into ourselves so that we can learn to connect to other people. We never know the weight of our words and how they might help someone. Hi, hello. I'm using a different camera lens today, so if things look a little different, a little bit more close, and not as, I don't know, but if things look different, that's why. I don't know why I felt like using this lens, but we're here. I feel like I'm in a much softer energy today. For the last, I think maybe 3 weeks, I've been not burnt out. Just when I'm in a triggered state of mind, I tend to operate in a little bit more of a darker feminine energy that's a little more intense and fiery, which I love. I think all sides of me are wonderful. So I don't care that I oscillate in all these different beautiful realms of femininity. I think every part of it is okay, but I've been having to deal with a lot of insecurities that have been coming up in regards to my limiting beliefs. And this is something I talked about in last week's episode, if you haven't listened to it, the people pleasing episode 81. Listen, Linda, your people pleasing and your limiting beliefs go hand in hand. Meaning, sometimes when we grow up in environments where our belief system was given to us and it wasn't really something that we created on our own, or if we tried to create our own belief system, it was almost like our own belief system was threatened. Therefore, we had to adopt a new one that didn't belong to us in order to survive, in order to show up in the world and be more accepted in a way that is not to be accepted in a way that's not rustling any feathers, and that's sad. That's a really sad way to live your life. It's a really sad way to go about how you navigate your own identity. I'm looking over here because I'm recording my audio at the same time, so for some reason it just shut off randomly. Anyways, yeah, I think a lot of us have these belief systems in our heads that do not belong to us. And they might belong to your parents, they might belong to the people that you surround yourself with, they might belong to the culture that you grew up in, they might belong to people who bullied you, or people who talked down to you, or people who had some sort of negative impact in your life as well. Because in my experience, and the best way that I know how to explain things is to tell stories. So if you've been a long-time follower, earlier on in my podcast career, I spoke about bullying and and how that shaped my whole identity going forward. And I gave some details on that when I was much younger, because at that point in time, my podcast was my place to just vent about life or whatever I was upset about. And now, that this has evolved into a different type of platform, I want you to know the story so that you can take from it what to learn. I always grew up with the belief system of me being me not being enough, or me being me is too weird or too much or too whatever, fill in the blank. My energy takes up a lot of space. That's something that I'm now very comfortable with. That's not something that happened overnight. That's something that took me a lot of time. That's actually why dance has been so important for me, is because it's taught me how to take up space and how to just be in my own body and how to allow myself to express, and that's okay. And the more authentic my movement is, meaning the less in my head I am about my movement and the more in my body I am about my movement, and the more it's just kind of flowing from where I would like it to, the better it looks. It's, plain and simple. If I'm in my head, all my movements and my choreography look like one trick, one trick, one trick. That's the same thing in life. When you're not operating from an authentic place, people can tell. People can tell whether they're cognizant or not when you're trying to pretend to be something you're not. And everything has energy to it. Every single thing. So when I grew up with the belief of I'm too much, I would quite literally try to shrink myself and be a wallflower because I was scared to speak up. I was scared to take up space. I would dress in ways that hid me instead of dressing in ways that allowed me to be open and to be seen. I purposely wouldn't do my makeup properly. I would do my hair in ways that were more acceptable. I have very curly hair naturally. When I was younger, I got made fun of having very curly, frizzy hair. So then when I was young, I just always styled it because that was the thing to do to fit in, which is really sad. And then as I got older, when I tried, the curly hair journey now as I've gotten older is a pain in the ass. So anyways, so it's not that now that I don't accept it. It's just that now, if I were to go down that journey, it would just be. It's a lot of work, and I don't have that kind of time or energy. Anyways, I digress. So, the belief system I had then allowed me to operate in life in a certain way. So when you have a certain belief system, whether it's negative or positive, that then dictates how you perceive things in life and also how you act. If you have a belief in your head of all the time of I'm too much, you're going to be scared to just show up as yourself. And therefore, life is going to react to you based off of how you're showing up. We have this idea in our head that life is always happening to us instead of it happening from us. Life is happening from you based off of your belief system. So if your belief system is fundamentally stemming off of trauma, stemming off of fear, stemming off of not being good enough, being too much, that's how you're going to operate in life. That can show up in so many ways. Not going after the job that you actually want because for some reason you have the belief in your head that you're not good enough. And then say you do go after it. If you still have that belief in your head and you then go sit down for the interview, the way you come across is not going to be confident. You're going to come across as someone who's insecure and doesn't believe in themselves because of your belief system. It's the same belief system with people. Recently, very recently, my age has been something I'm very, very insecure about. And in the dating world, I'm not paying attention to people's ages all the time. To be honest, I don't think age really matters for the most part. I think it's the stage of life that you're in and mental and emotional maturity. So I was walking around with this belief in my head for a while of, oh my God, I'm this old and I'm not where I want to be yet. And I started spiraling and feeling really insecure and then operating from that mindset and showing up in that mindset and then interpreting how people were treating me based off of my own belief system. If I'm not I want you to walk with me, not literally. I mean, you can walk with me if you want, if you're listening to this and you're walking outside. But I want you to walk with me on this example, okay? Each day that you wake up, you're starting new. Blank slate. If you're starting each day with a blank slate, from the moment you wake up, the belief system that you have is going to dictate how your day goes. Doesn't matter if something good or bad happens to you, your belief system will dictate how you respond, how you view the situation, and what you take from it and what you don't take from it. There's no such thing, in my opinion, as a good thing or a bad thing. It's kind of just how you see it. There are exceptions to the rule. Don't come for me in the comments. Relax. Generally, for the most part, though, there are. You know how many times I've been rejected by men that I really, really like? Now, could I have taken all those rejections and then allow it to then dictate my belief system of, I'm not good enough for the men that I like? Imagine if I operated from that belief system. You know what would happen? I'd start going for men that I don't like. Because I would have this belief system in my head that, well, I can't get what I want. I can't get who I actually want. So I guess I'm just going to settle and go for what I want, but I don't want in life. And so how this ties into last week's episode of people pleasing. Not only can we people please with the people around us in our external world, but also with ourselves. Sounds a little wonky. You're like, Sabi, how can I people please with myself? Well, if you're not setting boundaries with yourself and you're not speaking up for yourself to yourself when you're having these negative thought patterns, you're just kind of going along the motions, allowing yourself to bully yourself mentally and emotionally, and then you're never going to snap out of what you're thinking and feeling. So, blank slate, day has just started, you wake up. Say you wake up and you're not feeling good about yourself physically. Okay? You're not feeling good about yourself physically. You get a few texts, phone calls, people are checking in on you, and say you get a text from someone you really like. Someone you're attracted to. Maybe it's someone you haven't heard from in a long time. If you're not feeling good about yourself and you read that text, two things are going to happen. One, instant gratification and dopamine. Oh my God, the person I like has texted me. And then, oh wait, how do I respond? How should I respond? Wait, why did they text me? And then the spiral starts. The negative cycle starts, where you start doubting yourself because you woke up with the belief of, I don't feel good about myself today. I'm feeling a little self-conscious. Now, say you engage with this conversation. You go, okay, respond normally, whatever. After you've engaged with this conversation, say this person asks you out on a date. This person's asked me out on a date. I'm not feeling good about myself. Oh my God, what am I going to wear? How am I going to show up so that I feel good about myself? And then you start getting ready for this date. You start getting ready to go see this person. And all of a sudden you're nervous, you're panicking, you're overthinking everything, you're wondering what you should wear, you're wondering how you look, you're wondering if you look okay. And then you go show up and you're rushing, you're just, you're overthinking, you're spiraling, you're frustrated when you're getting ready. And then you get in your car, you're on your way to the date, you're a little bit late because you're frustrated, because you're rushing. You get to the date, go through it, you have a great time. Afterwards, more spiraling starts. You start overthinking. Did they like me? Oh my God. Do they like me back? What's happening? They haven't texted me. I got home, I texted them, they haven't texted me back. Oh my gosh, they don't like me. More spiraling. And then by the time the day ends, if you're an anxious person, by the time the day ends, you're like texting them, like, oh my God, I had a great time, I would love to see you again. But people know energy behind a message. The energy behind it is what people pick up on. It's the equivalent of when people start posting thirst traps on purpose on social media to get one person's attention because they haven't heard from them. You don't think that the person you're talking to is going to know exactly what the hell is going on? You don't think they're going to pick up on it and like, oh, it's not very attractive. And then you become less magnetic by default. And then you go to sleep, maybe, because you're really anxious because that person still hasn't fucking texted you back. And then guess what? You start your next day in the same mindset. I'm not good enough. And now what's happening there is you're creating a belief system based off of your external reality instead of your internal reality. Now let's walk you through a day where, say, you wake up and you're working on your belief system and your self-concept and what you think of yourself and all these little false narratives in the back of your head of, I'm not good enough, whatever. Say you wake up and you're going, yeah, I feel good today. I feel really good. You've been doing your, routine or whatever. You're in a really good headspace. And you wake up and same text comes through. A little bit of a different response when you have better self-belief. Oh, how cool. Wow. Okay, yeah. I want to go on this date. That'll be nice. That'll be fun. You get ready. You put on some music. You're feeling good about yourself. You're in your body. You're just feeling it. And then you go, I'm just going to wear whatever I feel comfortable in and I'm going to go. And you go to the date. You have an amazing time. And by the end of the date, you're not so hung up on, do they like me? What's happening? You're more vibing in your own energy. You're going, I really enjoyed that date. There's no rush. I don't need to say anything right away. I'll let them know I got home. That's it. You go to sleep. You wake up calmly the next morning. Guess what? They've probably already texted you. Your self-belief and your energy is what directly reflects your reality. Everything literally, and this is science, okay? So if you're not a spiritual person, let me walk you down some science shit for you. Schrodinger's cat experiment and how this relates to your limiting beliefs, energy, and your current reality. Schrodinger's cat, you can look this up. If you want the full details, I'm just going to give you the quick rundown. Basically, there was this experiment. Erwin Schrödinger created this experiment in 1935 where he wanted to understand how observing something would affect the result of something. Schrödinger had this radioactive atom that he put into a box with a cat. Now, the radioactive atom had a 50% chance of killing the cat and a 50% chance of not even affecting the cat, and the cat would be alive. Box is in front of you. If you open, currently, the cat right now is in the box. The radioactive atom is inside. The cat is in a sort of suspension, if you will, where if you open the box, either the cat will be alive or the cat will be dead. It depends on the observation. It depends on the belief system. Now, I want to take this a step further. I don't know if this is entirely part of the experiment, but in my opinion, the way we observe something dictates the result of it. The way we see something based off of how we believe it is how it happens. You ever have those moments in your life where you have this crazy thought pattern of negativity and then all of a sudden something negative happens? That's because what you're observing everything in your current field as negative, even though it may not actually be negative. It's actually neutral. And based off of how you perceive it is the result it's going to have. Schrodinger's cat is the same concept. See, the cat is going to be alive or dead based off of the observation that you give it and the energy that you give it. I wonder if you go up to this box with the cat inside and you have this belief system and worry like, oh fuck, the cat's going to be dead. It's going to be dead. The cat's going to be dead. Open up the box, cat's dead. You go in with the belief system of neutrality, hoping for the best, not expecting, hoping for the best. Cat's alive. This is your external reality. Everything is matter. If everything is energy and everything is matter and we are made up of energy and we are made up of matter, then what we think and believe is what ends up happening. So if you're always thinking and believing that bad things are going to happen to you, they're going to happen because that's how you're choosing to see your life. Someone can come up to you and say hi to you, and you can either think it's a threat or you can think it's a meet cute. It depends on how you observe the situation. If you keep observing situations the same way, if your life is happening the same way, change your belief system, because then you start acting in your life according to your belief system. So if you have the idea and the fear in your head that everything bad's going to happen, well, guess what? You're going to start operating from fear. When you start operating from fear, well, life's going to start changing around you to match that. If you start operating in the belief of, say you're looking for a new job, this is what I've been dealing with. If you start operating in the belief of, say you're looking for a new job, oh, I'm going to get one. I'm going to get it. It's happening in the future. Well, if it's happening in the future, it's always going to be happening in the future. And my actions are going to keep pushing it farther and farther and farther away. If I go, no, it's here, the job will be here. Why? Because I'm going to start acting and behaving in a way as if it's already here. Oh, I'm going to meet my future husband soon and at this time. Well, if you're saying future husband, it's always going to be in the future. If you say that he's already here, guess what? He's already here. It's just a matter of time. The way that our beliefs set up how we see ourselves can dictate so much. And the beliefs that you have, all the negative ones, all the ones about yourself that you keep thinking and believing are true, actually, in fact, are not true. You have the power to shape your beliefs based off of your own belief system, not the belief system that your culture has given you of, I need to get married by X time and X age and I need to have X job. No, toss that out the window. Not the belief system that society has given you of pleasure is weird. Experiencing happiness has to be hard. I must suffer in order to be successful. Those are belief systems you've created. Therefore, your life is looking exactly like that. My latest belief system. I'm 33 and I feel like I'm behind in life. Well, if I operate in that belief system, I'm always going to feel that way and I'm always going to operate from that belief, so therefore my life will continue to be the same. If I break out of that and reframe my thinking and see it in a more positive way, my life will be more positive because I'll start operating from that. If I took every rejection from every job, every guy, every situation, every hate comment I've ever gotten on social media, and I allowed those things to become my belief system, would I be sitting here in front of you? No. If I had the belief system in my head of, oh my God, I'm getting old, would I quite literally be aging backwards as we've all seen? No. Your belief is affecting the energy around you. So if you believe, oh, they're not going to like me. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to get rejected. Well, you're going to start acting as if you've already gotten rejected, and then you're going to get rejected because, well, you're acting really weird and you're not being yourself. People pleasing can lead us to the beliefs that we think we need to be successful in life, that we think we need to be our best selves. You know, I said this in a few episodes. You are who you surround yourself with. Look at the belief systems with the people that you're surrounding yourself with. I had a good friend of mine the other day tell me that, like, I wouldn't be able to find someone that had everything I wanted and that I'd need to sacrifice something. And I sat there and I went, huh, that's interesting. Actually, she's settled in her relationship. She's not happy. That's her belief system. Why would I agree with her belief system? If I agree with her belief system, I'll be settling. I'll be not happy. and I'll just keep attracting the same types of people that don't have anything that I want in a partner. Same thing with a job. Same with anything. Literally anything. Think about all the beliefs that you have about yourself right now that you don't like. Think about the belief systems of the people around you. Think about the belief systems that your culture has given you. And I want you to sit down and write all the beliefs that you have that you know are not yours, but you're still carrying. If I had the belief system carrying around from my culture that I should never speak my mind, I should never talk about my emotions, I should never tell anyone how I'm feeling. In fact, if something wrong happens, I should keep it to myself and just muster through it. Could you imagine if I carried that belief system my entire life? I wouldn't have made a YouTube channel. I wouldn't have made a podcast. I wouldn't have done anything. I'd probably, oh God, who knows? I don't know. I don't want to know. But you get my point. Your belief system is your own. Your belief system is what you choose it to be, so choose it very carefully. I'm not saying when you're anxious and you're having a hard time that all of a sudden that's bad and you're going to start attracting bad things. No. I'm saying when you're feeling those negative thoughts, get down to the root cause of why you're feeling that and what that belief is. When someone doesn't text you back right away or someone isn't getting back to you right away, are you automatically believing that they're not interested in you? Are you automatically putting that belief system of, oh, well, clearly they don't like me, they're not interested in me, oh God. Ugh. And then the next time you see them, you start treating them differently, and then they're going to feel different, and then the whole spiral starts. When the reality might be, you haven't heard from someone in a while, they're busy, they might have other shit going on in their life, maybe they don't have the capacity to get back to you right away. Maybe nothing's wrong, maybe you haven't done anything wrong. Do you see any evidence to support that belief? Have they said something that supports that belief? Well, if they haven't said anything that supports that belief, then why are you creating an outcome that you know hasn't even happened yet? You're creating your own outcome of situations based off of how you choose to believe that they're going. If I took every single bad thing that happened to me and sat there and went, oh my God, only bad things happen to me, that's a miserable way to live. Instead, I take them as, what can I learn from this? What is this teaching me? Okay, well, if it's not this, it's obviously something better. And that automatically detaches me away from it so that I'm not so emotionally involved in it, and I'm not then creating more negative belief systems and cycles. That is my episode for you today. A little shorter than last week. But I really urge you to start pinpointing those belief systems and how they're impacting your day-to-day life and what you're attracting. We're attracting things all the time. So what are you attracting based off of your belief system? You know? So yeah. Next week, we'll be talking more about your comfort zone and why being in your comfort zone is you people-pleasing yourself. So people-pleasing isn't just to do with other people. It's also to do with how we're showing up for ourselves. How we're not holding up our own boundaries. How we are self-abandoning ourselves for belief systems that do not belong to us. How we're still adopting these old versions of ourselves to be true when they're not. They're not. Every part of yourself is beautiful. Every part of yourself is welcome. Every part of yourself needs healing, including the younger you, you know? But if you don't address the different parts of yourself that exist and the belief systems that each one of them hold, you will still keep living the same life. You'll still keep waking up miserable. You'll keep waking up and wondering why your life isn't going the way that you want it to go. And you're going to keep going down that negative spiral, little rabbit hole. And you'll never see the end of it. I was in a rut for like 3 weeks. 3 weeks. And I knew I was. I felt it. I was in it. The difference was it took work for me to sit through every single one of my emotions, feel them, process them, understand them, feel the uncomfortable emotions that I did not want to feel the self-abandonment of me being outside of my body and just overthinking all the time, feel the anxiety, feel the lack of sleep, feel the malnourishedness of my soul. But because I kept chipping away at each belief and each emotion and each negative emotion, each uncomfortable thought, each uncomfortable feeling, and I just kept pushing through day by day, I came out the other side and finally hit a point where I was like, okay, we're back. We're back. You can always come back to yourself. Always. You have the tools within you to do that. You just have to do it. You have to change the way that you believe and see yourself. Because people will treat you based off of what you perceive of yourself. If I go around the world going like, oh my God, I'm so old. Oh my God, I'm running out of time. Well, then people are going to treat me that way because that's how I'm showing up. You know, that is the episode I have for you today. That's my unhinged wisdom and pep talk for you. But either way, just take it one step and one day at a time. Have way more compassion for yourself, but also pair that with some discipline, because nothing good happens without discipline in any way. It really doesn't. You have to stay consistent in any improvement you want to make in your life. And you have to go through the eye of the storm, as I say often, you know? So thank you for tuning in today. And hopefully this was like the big sis lecture direct chat that you needed to really wake up and start changing the way that you see yourself and how you see the world. It is just quite that simple, and people neglect to see it that way. We tend to overcomplicate why things happen in our life when really, truly, it's a lot simpler than we think it is. There are exceptions to the rule, obviously, and you know that. So don't take everything so literally, but for the most part, you have the ability to change how you see yourself and the world. So start taking things into your own hands. Control what you can control and let go of the rest. It'll be a lot easier for you. So thanks so much for tuning in. And I feel really awkward saying goodbye right now. I don't know why. I'm not sure. Oh, I never know how to end these things. I feel like sometimes it's seamless. Sometimes I'm just awkwardly like, goodbye. So I guess I'm just going to awkwardly say goodbye and share this with anyone that you think may need it. And don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and rate this so that it pushes it to the people who do need it, in case you don't want to send it to someone. That's mean. So yeah. But other than that, I will see you on the next one. I don't know why I'm doing finger guns. This is what this is what the sabby you're getting today. Just accept it. So yeah. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you ever want to chat more about anything that this podcast is about, you know where to find me. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and good old TikTok. And be sure to stay tuned for my Tea Time with Sabby episodes. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or YouTube or whatever streaming platform you happen to be listening to this on, I encourage you to follow, like, subscribe, and rate this so that it pushes it out to whoever else might need it.